I'll be swearing.
Can you please state your full names for the record?
Say that again.
Please state your full names for the record.
Vusi Matlala.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And I haven't had the opportunity. Good morning, Mr. Matlala.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Mr. Matlala, you should have by you a fairly small white file. And
I think the witness's file has been taken away. We'll just go on, look at it electronically. It's just going to be a bit of an issue pertaining to the paginated numbers. But I've handed mine over just for purposes of getting away, moving along.
Taken by who so that we can track it down?
I think the attorneys took the boxes with, but it's not an issue. Let's just move on. You can use mine in the interim.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I hope that the file you've been given accords with our paginated version. But let's start with the cover. It should bear your name on the spine and read Regulation 10.6 Notice, Statement and Annexure. Is that what you have?
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Now, you do confirm that you have filed a statement in response to a request by the Commission to address certain specified questions that were posed to you. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
I would like you to, on that file, then turn to page 8 and have regard to the contents of the document appearing from page 8. It runs until page 17. And it has in the trim lines at page 8 the word affidavit, and it purports to be your affidavit. And if you go to page 17, this is a document, an affidavit sworn to by yourself on the 2nd day of August 2026 and bears a signature above the word deponent. Do you confirm that's your signature and that the details I have read are correct?
Yes, I confirm.
Now, attached to this statement, if you go further from page 18, is a 2-page document that is referred to in this particular statement as Annexure VM1, and that would start at page 18. Do you so confirm?
Yes, I do.
And you stand by the contents of this statement as we sit here now?
Yes, I do.
Just to give you a sense of how we normally run our processes here in the Commission, as a start, we give the witness an opportunity to speak to the statement that they have submitted. They have a choice of summarizing issues or reading the statement into the record as we go along, or in fact, a bit of both. During that time, you can expect not to be engaged or the facts that you attest to not be contradicted either by the evidence leaders or the commissioners. So you have a free run with the statement. You must, however, anticipate questions which we call clarification questions. The clarification questions will be based on what is contained in the statement, either in a particular paragraph or a paragraph considered in the context of another paragraph, just so you clarify what your eventual position is as regards a particular fact. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So when we start, then you will have the opportunity to relate your story as you choose, and as I said, you may read or summarize. Secondly, the structure of your statement is such that you respond specifically to the issues raised in the Regulation 10.6 notice that was served upon you. So you do so with reference to the specific paragraphs in the 10.6 notice. In your statement, you deal with your response to the issue, specific issue in a certain paragraph, but you do not indicate what was asked of you. That's correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So to facilitate the appreciation of your testimony by future readers, where you indicate that you are responding to a particular paragraph, like you say, at paragraph 2.1.1, please allow me an opportunity to read into the record what was stated in paragraph 2.1.1, and then we deal with your response there too. Would that work for you?
Oh, yeah, it will.
Thank you. So if then we may start at paragraph 8, and before we do so, you should have page 8. We should have from page 1 to 7 the actual 10.6 notice that you had received. Please confirm that's what you have.
Yes, I do have.
Then each time we have to go back to the 10.6, that is the 10.6 I'll be referring to, and you are welcome to go to it just to satisfy yourself that I am reading into the record correctly what is set out in the 10.6.
Okay.
I invite you then to deal with your statement starting from page 8. I think it makes sense that you perhaps read the beginning and the first 4 paragraphs, and because from the 5th paragraph you are now responding, you pause thereafter, and then I will read into the record paragraph 2.1.1 of the 10.6 notice, and then we take it from there. Thank you.
I should start reading.
Please start reading, whichever works best for you, yes.
1 to 4, paragraphs 1 to 4.
I'm an adult businessman currently incarcerated as a remand detainee and awaiting trial. The facts deposed in this affidavit, save for where otherwise stated or indicated, are within my personal knowledge and are, to the best of my belief, both true and correct. I confirm that I was served with a notice in terms of Regulation 10.6 of the regulations of the Commission, and therefore I depose to this affidavit in response to the notice referred to herein. Where I make submissions of law, I do so on the advice of my legal representatives, which are advice I verily believe to be correct.
Thank you for that. You then have a heading at paragraph 2.1.1. That is paragraph 2.1.1 of the 10.6 notice, which, as I indicated, starts from your page 1. If we could then refer to page 2, the first 2 paragraphs are the standard preliminary introductory comments to the notice itself. But you were requested from paragraph 2.1 to provide comprehensive background information, including, and you start with your paragraph 2.1.1, and the question to you was whether you have previously been convicted of any offense by a court of law in South Africa, and if so, full details including dates of conviction and nature of the offenses. You deal with that at paragraph 5. Please read your paragraph 5.
I confirm that I have previous conviction of housebreaking and theft to which I was sentenced to an effective 8-year prison term. I served 18 months of this sentence and I was subsequently released.
We then turn to the next question and the 10.6 at 2.1.2, where you were asked whether you have ever been charged of any offense and charges were later withdrawn against you. You are required to provide details of the charges and dates when charges were withdrawn. You respond to that particular request at paragraph 6.
I can confirm that I was previously charged with offenses that were later withdrawn. I attach here to as Annexure VM1 a list of the offenses that I was charged with which were later withdrawn.
And you confirm that the VM1 you reference there is the document appearing from page 18?
Yes, I
page
do.
18 and page 19?
Yes, I do.
These are the matters you were previously charged with, but all of which were subsequently withdrawn. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay. The next question to you was at paragraph 2.1.3, asking whether you are currently facing any charges, and if so, the nature of those charges and dates when you were charged. you deal with that question at paragraph 7 of your statement, if you could read that.
I confirm that I'm currently facing 2 separate pending matters as set out below. I have a pending case in the High Court of South Africa, Johannesburg, under the case number SS98/2025. I was arrested and charged by members of the PKTT on the 14th day of May 2025. I've been indicted on charges of attempted murder and money laundering, which trial commenced on the 20th day of July 2026 and shall run until the 18th day of September 2026. I am also facing a case that is pending before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court under case number A16/212/26. I was formally charged with corruption and money laundering on the 24th day of March 2026. I place on record that this matter is with respect to a health risk tender awarded by SAPS to Medicare 2420 Pty Limited. I confirm that the time of submission of the bid and the subsequent award of the tender, I was the sole director of Medicare 24.
Thank you. At paragraphs 8 and 9, you respond to the question posed at paragraph 2.1.4, which reads thus: when and how you first became involved in the security business and the health sectors. If you could then read your response, which is reflected at paragraphs 8 and 9.
I first became involved in the security business on or during 2017. I became a director of CAT Protection and Security Pty Ltd Trading as CAT VIP Protection with registration number 2017/177122/07. I became involved in the health sector by means of registering my company to the Central Supply Database in order to participate in the provision of services to government entities. By virtue of being registered on the CSD, my company will receive requests for quotation from the Department of Health, as this is the sector in which we had indicated as our field of trade on the CSD. It is then that company will provide the requested quotations and thereafter, upon success, provide the requested services.
Before we leave paragraphs 8 and 9, just to clarify, at paragraph 8, you deal with the company CAT VIP Protection and you give the registration number. At 9, you deal with involvement in the healthcare sector and you say you did so by means of registering your company. Just to clarify, is this the same company you registered or is this a different company?
No, it's not. It's not the same company. It's not the same
It's a different company?
Yes.
Would you recall off the top of your head the name of the company?
Yes, I do.
Yes, if you could provide that, please.
Black AK Trading and Suppliers.
Sorry, I missed that. Please say that.
Black
Yes,
AK Trading and Suppliers.
thank you. And would you have a recollection of when that registration on the Central Supplier Database took place?
I'll say around 2018.
2018. Thank you for that.
Yeah, ma'am.
And I do accept that you're speaking off the top of your head.
Yes.
So, thank you. We then, in your statement, moved to the question that was posed at paragraph 2.1.5, which was whether you have other business ventures outside of the security and health business, and you provided response at paragraph 10.
I place on record that I do not have any other businesses outside of the security and health sector.
And if I may just clarify, your participation in the security and health sectors is specifically through the 2 companies you have named. Are there any other?
Yes. Yes.
Just the 2?
Yes.
Is it not 3? Medicare, CAT Protection, and Black AK?
Well,
Or are we only dealing with health and not security?
no, I'm dealing with both health and security.
So it would be 3.
The Medicare 2420.
Medicare, CAT Protection Services, and Black AK Trading and Supplies.
That's for the health sector. And then CAT VIP. Do you understand the
Yes, I
question,
do.
Mr. Matlala?
Yes, I do.
So you confirm that's just the three
Yes,
companies?
yes.
You reference at paragraph 7.2, 8, and 9. You had no other companies through which you participated in the health and security
Yes, I
services sectors?
Yes.
Thank you. Then we turn our attention to the question that was posed at paragraph 2.1.6 of the notice. And the question required you to provide an explanation of your interactions or business engagements with state entities such as the South African Police Service, SAPS, and Ekurhuleni Municipal Police Department, EMPD. You are required to provide details of any companies or organizations in which you have an interest which conducted business with state entities. These details should include their establishment, business activities directors, and any joint ventures or contracts within the state. Your response to that extensive request is in your paragraph 11 at page 10. And it's got under the heading SAPS, and at your paragraph 11, you address the issue, your relationship with EMPD. So let's first deal with your paragraph 11, which is specifically directed to your dealings with SAPS.
My company, Medicare, was previously contracted by SAPS to provide health and risk-related services. I place on record that the Medicare tender has since been terminated. As already alluded to above, I'm currently facing a criminal charge which is pending before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court with respect to the Medicare tender. In light of the current pending criminal charges referred to herein, I'm unable to comment further on this matter in that I do not wish to give evidence that may lead or self-incrimination, and therefore I claim the privilege against self-incrimination. However, I do, wish to assist the Commission as best as possible. Safe to say that I am unable to comment on matters that are sub judice. I'm in any event entitled to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. I'm advised that this is a well-established legal principle which affords protection to accused persons in criminal matters. The exercise of my right to claim privilege against self-incrimination should not be viewed as an obstruction or unwillingness to assist the Commission. Please.
Before we turn to the issue of EMPD, just what you have stated in paragraph 11, if you are able to explain the extent to which you invoke that privilege, is it entirely in respect of your engagements and dealings with SAPS, or are you confining yourself specifically to the Medicare 24 contract?
It's in relation with the Medicare 24 contract.
Specifically, you confine yourself there too.
And anything that will have to be connected with the Medicare 24 contract.
Anything that will be connected with that content?
Yeah, of course,
okay.
Yes.
Then from paragraph 12, rather, you then deal with the issue of EMPD.
Yes.
If you could read your response.
I place on record that none of my companies were ever awarded contracts by EMPD, and that the only business that was concluded was for no financial gain, in terms of which we through one of my companies, CAT VIP Protection, provided security services to former Mayor Tanya Campbell.
And on that issue, you haven't provided it, but are you able to, if it exists, to provide any documentation in respect of the security services you provided to the former mayor? Would you have any documentation in respect thereto at hand?
No, I do not have any documentation.
Okay. Then you go to the issues.
Sorry, Mr. Matlala, we have evidence, I hope I'm not mistaken, that your company provided security at a state of the city address in Ekurhuleni.
Yes.
Was that a separate incident, or is it what you are referring to here?
Yeah, this is what I'm referring to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And before perhaps we leave that point, when we do get to the point of engaging you, I trust you'll be able to give more detail regarding specifically the security services you provided to the former mayor at a later time.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Then at paragraph 2.1.7, the notice required you, with regards to the SAPS contract awarded to Tshwane Medicare 24, to explain the circumstances in which you came to submit a tender for the SAPS Health Risk Management contract, including any engagements with SAPS members, whether or not they were involved in the bid evaluation adjudication process, the management of the contract once you were awarded the tender, and any gifts, sponsorships, gratification favors that you provided to any member of SAPS after you were awarded the tender. That's reflected at paragraph 2.1.7. You deal with the contents of that at paragraph 13 at page 8, if you could read that.
As already alluded to above, the SAPS and Medicare contract is a matter in which I have been criminally charged and currently attending court, and as such, I'm unable to comment on the question posed on the paragraph under reply, and the basis is that I do not wish to incriminate myself. The Medicare SAPS tender is a subject of a criminal court case, as already alluded to above. I remain an accused in that matter together with my company, and as such, evidence is still to be led in an open court with respect to this matter. I'm entitled to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, and also not to answer self-incriminating questions, especially on such a complex matter that the state has already preferred charges against me.
That would then conclude the list of questions asked of you under paragraph 2.1 of the 10.6 notice. The notice then moved on to paragraph 2.2, which had about 7 sub-questions. You deal with that from your paragraph 14 and into paragraph 15. The questions set out in paragraph 2.2 are lengthy, but basically they required you to explain or provide an explanation on the history or relationship, whether direct or indirect, with certain persons listed in the Schedule A to the 10.6 notice. And you were requested, as you provide that information, to answer specific questions relating to such relationships set out in paragraphs 2.2.1 to paragraph 2.2.7. Your response, as I say, starts from paragraph 14, and if you could read that into the record, and then from paragraph 15, under different 4 sub-paragraphs, you deal with your relationships with different persons. So when the time comes, we will take it in terms of each individual identified, and then we'll read that particular portion into the record. For the moment, I invite you to deal with paragraph 14.
The following...
So are you not going to do what you've been doing, which is to read, so you won't read 2.2.1?
The 2.2, the question really is at 2.2, to explain your history and or relationship, direct or indirect, with certain listed officials. Then it required him, in his response, to provide the following information: when and how you met each individual, the nature and description of the relationship, the nature and extent of and frequency of communications, the nature, extent, and frequency of physical meetings, whether you have exchanged information with such persons, and whether he has been offered gifts, gratification, money, and whether he has been requested or been offered any favors by any of these individuals. So the questions listed from 2.2.1 is in respect of each individual listed in Annexure A. And that Annexure A appears from page 7.
Okay, all right.
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you. Thank you.
So if you could then, as I said, deal with your paragraph 14.
The following SAPS officials are my co-accused in the criminal case with respect to the SAPS Medicare tender, and as such, I'm unable to respond to the questions posed relating to them on the basis that I do not wish to incriminate myself. As already alluded to above, the criminal case is still pending and awaiting adjudication in court. General Phahlane Masemola, Brigadier Rachel Majeng, Brigadier Alfuios Timkosi Ngema, Brigadier Patrick Natengwe, Brigadier Kesti Yonker, Brigadier Petunia Riabezu Lenono, Brigadier Onika Offensive Tlwadi, Colonel Anton Paulson, Colonel Natsenge Johannes Munyai, Colonel Nonjabudo Nomfundo Mgadi, Colonel Tumisho Nehemiah Maleka, Captain Brian Neville Cartwright, and Major General Vusi Precious Temba.
You then, from paragraph 15, deal specifically with 4 people. At 15.1, you address matters of your relationship with Minister Mchunu. At 15.2, you deal with your relationship, if any, with General Phahlane. At 15.6, misnumbered as 14, at 15.6 is your relationship with General Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. At 15.3, Lieutenant General Mulefefani. And at 15.4, with Major General Feroz Khan. And that concludes your testimony in regard to the relationships, the relationships you have with the various persons listed at Annexure A. You confirm that?
Yes, I confirm.
Now, looking at your paragraph 14, you have listed 13 persons there that you say are your co-accused in the Medicare 24 contract.
Yes.
And you request, in extending your privilege, that you not be required to comment or testify about any relationship you may have with any one of them.
Of course.
So, if we go to page 7, though, I realize that if one has regard to the 13 that you request that you not be questioned about because they are your co-accused in the Medicare 24 contract, we'll look at those you deal with at paragraph 15. It still does not conclude the list at page 7. Would you please go to page 7 of that file?
I'm on it.
I'll give you an example. Your item 5 requested you to speak to any relationship you may have with Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibia. Item 8 requested the same of Lieutenant General Sintu Mule. 9 with former General Tema. 10 Major General Leseja Sinona, and so it goes. So there are persons in Annexure A that you have not included in your statement. Why is that?
Yeah, these are the people that will be added in the supplementary affidavit.
Why did they not form part of the statement? Because you do not explain, at least as far as I can see, in your statement that you will, if I may just complete this, that you will be addressing the remainder of the persons identified in Annexure A at a later stage in a supplementary affidavit.
Yes, I was just only referring to my co-accused. So these people here are not my co-accused.
No, sorry, perhaps I wasn't very clear. I'm saying, if we look at the people at 14, you say these are your co-accused.
Yes.
But then you go further at 15, you deal with others who are not your co-accused.
On paragraph 15.
From paragraph 15, 15.1 to 15.4. As I read them out, it's Minister Mchunu, that's not your co-accused.
Yes.
Former General Phahlane, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General Phahlane, and Major General Feroz Khan. So, besides the fact that you don't deal with the ones you say are your co-accused, which is a different issue, you appear to have made a selection from Annexure A as to which relationship to talk about. And I point out that, for instance, you completely ignored the request that you talk to your relationship with Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibia, who's listed under 5, to Lieutenant General Kosi Sentumule, listed under 6, and Major General Sinona, under 10, former General Sandra Tema, under 9, Major General Shibiri, under 12. So my question was, besides the fact that I hear you will not deal with your relationship with your co-accused, you have gone further to make a selection to deal with only 5 of the remaining persons whose names appear on Annex 5, and have chosen to ignore completely the other persons, with no explanation in your statement as to why that is the case. And I'm inviting you to explain to the commissioners why that is the case.
I will say is because these people, in my supplementary affidavit, it will explain further why I didn't include them now here. So because there are some reasons, I did that deliberately because I have reasons why I did not include them. But only those reasons will be found in my supplementary affidavit.
Are you in a position to share the reasons now and the detail then of the relationship you have with the respective persons to be included in your supplementary? The reasons I'm requesting is why they don't form part of this particular statement. And then you don't have to elaborate on the relationship you have with each one of them.
It will have to do with the recordings which I'm disputing. So I did not want to add them now because I have to now dive deep and explain why I'm saying I'm disputing the recordings, which we still have the transcripts that we still need to transcribe again because of some of them are unofficial transcripts.
So then if I understand you correctly, and I don't want to misunderstand you, anyone appearing at page 7 that you have not dealt with, it's your submission that they are to some extent impacted by or involved in the recordings that you intend to dispute.
Yes.
Is that the
Yes.
basis? I hear you. And that will become apparent when you submit your supplementary statement.
Ms. Sillo,
Chair.
are you not in a position to itemize all of the names that have been excluded? Because what you've done now is to give examples.
Yes, we are able to.
If it will take time.
No, it won't, Chair. Perhaps
all right,
I'm thinking of the
please.
best way to do it.
All right.
It would be to read the listed paragraph 7, and then we start with where he has itemized at paragraph 14, and then I'll relate it to the item number. Mm-hmm. Then I will call out those that are dealt with in paragraph 15, and then it will become apparent then who else is remaining. Mm-hmm. So it will just be a quick exercise of. So if we.
And sorry, Commissioner, to disturb. I actually wanted to ask clarity because I see here there is on number 20 on page 7.
Yes.
Number 27, there's a Sergeant Zungu.
Yes.
So I don't know, because I do not know Sergeant Zungu, but I know Captain Zungu. So I don't know whether the commission made a mistake or what. So I couldn't comment on this, not knowing whether it's a mistake or not.
I'll try and clarify that for you.
Okay.
So I will highlight Sergeant or Captain Zungu as a specific case.
Okay.
And it's because it was unclear to you, as I understand it, who the commission was referencing. So I'll come back to you with clarity, and then you can deal with that
fine,
in the supplementary. Chair, then the quick exercise. I think the best way to go about it is to use Mr. Matlala's statement at paragraph 14. At 14.1, he deals with General Masemula. Now, the request that he deal with General Masemula is item 3 on page 7. It's followed by Brigadier Rachel Macheng, and Rachel Macheng, Brigadier Macheng, is item 14 at page 7. The next is Brigadier Alpheus Teminkosi Ngema, and that is item 15 at page 7. That's followed by Brigadier Kirsty Jonker, that's item 17. 14.7, he deals with Brigadier Onika Ufenze Twayele, that's item 19. That's followed by Colonel Anton Paulson, that's item 20. 14.9, it's Colonel Natsenge Johannes Munyai, that's item 21. Followed by Colonel Nonjabulo Nomfundo Mgadi, it's item 22. I was then requested to comment on his relationship with Colonel Tumisho Nehemiah Maleka, that's 24, item 24 at page 7. Followed by Captain Brian Neville Cartwright, that's item 25. And lastly, Major General Busisiwe Temba. That's item 13. Item 13 at page 7. I note that at paragraph 14.13, Mr. Matlala refers to the Major General as Temba with an H. Page 7 is Demba without an H, so we accept that perhaps our spelling may have been wrong. He intends to, it's correct, Mr. Matlala, you intended to talk about the person listed in item 13 of page 7, notwithstanding the difference in the spelling of the name.
Honestly, I don't know his surname, so I don't know whether it's a spelling error or not. I don't know how to pronounce her.
No, that's quite fine, and I do accept that the spelling error may be on our part, but at least it's the same person that we are dealing with. If we then, Chair, move to...
Sorry, I think I missed two names. Did you include both items 23 and 24, Colonel Maleka and Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke?
Yes, Nehemiah Maleka, who's 14.1, is included. It's item 23.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And 24?
Maluleke, I had...
Not.
Maluleke is not listed, is not part of his paragraph 14.
All right, thank you.
Now, paragraph 15 then involves other persons, the first being Minister Mchunu, and the request in that respect is item 1 of the page 7. The next is General Phahlane. And item 4 on page 7. Thereafter, it's followed by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, that's item 6. And Lieutenant General Mulife Fani, that's item 7. And lastly, Major General Feroz Khan, that's item 11. So that would, on my estimation, leave, if we go then page 7, it will leave item 5, Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibia. It will leave out item 8, Lieutenant General Kosi Sintumule. Item 9, former General Sandra Tema. Item 10, Major General Lesija Sinona. Item 12, Major General Richard Shibiri. Item 16, Brigadier Patrick Netengwe. 18, Brigadier Petunia Reabedzu Lenono.
Sorry, Netengwe is 14.4.
Oh, the error is mine. Yes, it's quite good. Thank you, Commissioner. Then that takes us to 18. 18 is dealt with, yes, at item 14.6. So after Major General Shibiri, then we would jump to 24, Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke. Yes, we've got Malika. And then Sergeant or Captain Zungu, as the witness has stated, and Commissioner Julius Mkhwanazi. at item 28. Those are the persons that he has not addressed in the statement or his relationship with them.
Ms. Zillo, it might be I missed it. Item 2 and 26.
Yes, item, indeed. 26 would be Faninkosi. That's quite, I confused that with Mulefe Fani. That would be correct.
And did you mention item 2?
I miscounted it as a matter, as somebody he had dealt with in his statement. The commissioner is quite correct.
Thank you.
Chairperson,
Yes.
I do feel compelled, maybe as client is not legally trained, to just highlight the following issues. In addition to what the client has said, I was not the deponent, or I didn't assist with the drafting of this affidavit, but I was consulted on issues relating thereto. The persons that were left off also relates to IDAC. There are certain investigations conducted by IDAC, it was going to be dealt with in the supplementary affidavit. There was information that the attorneys endeavoured to obtain from IDAC that, put it this way, that they battled to get, but we're dealing with it in a different way. So the legal basis is not only based on the statement that's at issue, but it relates to investigations that were conducted by IDAC. And I think I'm going to stop there because we do intend to basically also set out for you the legal basis as to why these names cannot be dealt with also vis-a-vis IDAC's investigations. And then specifically I can also mention in respect of the last person, I think it's General Phahlane from the EMPD, there's certain further information. It all relates to the issue of suspect, the legal definition of a suspect, etc., and your rights afforded to you as a suspect. I just wanted to place this on record. May I please you?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Phahlane.
Thank you, Chair. So we understand the reason why then some of the people who've been left out on the list were left out. We accept that they will then be addressed in the supplementary statement to be filed, and we shall pick it up from there when that statement is filed. Let's then turn our attention, Mr. Matlala, to your paragraph 15, where you then deal with the 5 people. At 15.1, you recall that the request to you had been to explain the history and relationship you maintain with the specific persons listed at page 7. And to give the details as to the nature and extent and frequency of your communication, etc. You deal at 15.1 with your relationship with Minister Mchunu, or if there is any, if you could then address yourself to your paragraph 15.1.
I place on record that I do not have any relationship with Minister Mchunu. I have never met Minister Mchunu and have had no interactions with him, nor have I been at any gatherings where he was present. It suffices to say that I do not know Minister Mchunu.
And just a question of clarification here, you say you have had no interactions, I take it, with personal interactions.
Yes.
Have you had any interactions on your behalf? Have there been any interactions on your behalf with Minister Mchunu to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Initiated by you? Have you ever requested anyone to engage with him on your behalf?
No, it was only during when we had to confirm whether we know each other. There's a letter that I sent to, it was sent, I think, to the IDAC committee.
Yes.
So it's that interaction that I'm referring to.
So that's the interaction you had with him? Are you able
Not
to...
with him directly.
Oh, yes? Please clarify.
Not with him directly.
Through who?
Through the attorney.
Okay. The attorney being his attorney or your attorney?
My attorney and his attorneys.
Okay. sorry. Now you have specified the interactions you had with Minister Mchunu through your attorneys, and you referenced a particular letter you submitted to, or that was submitted to Parliament, and you said this was through your respective attorneys, both yourself and Minister Mchunu's. Have you had any other dealings or interactions with him through interactions by others?
No.
None.
No.
Then if we go over... Yes,
Before
please.
Mr. Mchunu's foundation, have you had any dealings with it?
No, nothing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, perhaps because you were requested at 2.2.5, when you speak of any particular individual, to indicate whether you have exchanged information with them. At 2.2.6, whether you have given or offered any gifts, gratification, money, sponsorship, favors to any of these individuals. Now, confining ourselves to Minister Mchunu, if you look at paragraph 2.2.6 of the notice, do you confirm that you have not taken any step that constitutes an offer of gift or sponsorship to Mr. Mchunu, whether directly or indirectly? Is that your position?
No, I've never is.
Okay. If then I can invite us to page 13. At page 13, you deal the same questions, but now in respect of former General Phahlane. You deal with that at 15.2.
I place on record that I know General Phahlane. I'm unable to recall how many times I have met with him, and place on record that these meetings were, to the best of my knowledge and belief at the time, when he was no longer within the employ of the SAPS. I confirm that I have no business dealings with General Phahlane, nor have I ever asked for any favors from him or offered him any gratifications.
In light of your response in regard to General Phahlane, may I then ask you, insofar as Minister Mchunu is concerned, specifically, whether you have ever asked of him any favors?
From General Phahlane?
No, Mr. Mchunu, I'm going back because when you speak of General Phahlane, you specifically say you've never asked for any favors from him or offered him any gratifications. That is a claim you don't make in respect of Mr. Mchunu. So my question to you is whether you have ever asked of any favor of Minister Mchunu.
No, I have never asked any favors from him.
You then, at paragraph 15.6, deal with your relationship with Lieutenant General Madlanga. If you could read that into the record.
I place on record that I know and have on one occasion met Lieutenant General Madlanga. I do not have any relationship with him.
Are you in a position to describe very briefly, even just highlights, this meeting on this one occasion? Are you able to provide any detail?
I cannot provide any details because it has to do with the case that I'm attending in Pretoria for Medicare tender.
Sorry, please say that again.
I'm saying I cannot provide any details because my meeting with General Mchunu, it has to do with the tender that I had with SAPS.
Okay.
Which now I'm attending court and I'm charged for that matter.
So if I understand you correctly, then your meeting in that occasion you reference involved the Medicare 24 tender?
Yes.
Did it involve any other issue besides the Medicare 24 tender?
No, it has to do with Medicare 24 tender.
Your voice tends to drop sometimes, or maybe my hearing is not what it should be.
I'll try to speak next to the speaker.
You can pull them closer to you if more comfortable. Thank you. Yes, no, my question had been on that particular one occasion, because you say you've met with him only once. I hear that you say that meeting involved or related to the Medicare 24 contract, which you say is part of the ongoing criminal trial.
Yes.
My question was whether or not you discussed any other matters outside the Medicare 24 contract, and if so, what those were.
Yeah, there is something that we discussed except the Medicare 24 tender.
Are you able to shed light on what was discussed?
Maybe, again, Chairperson, this particular issue, I want to request for a number of reasons that it be parked. We intend to bring, if necessary, again in law, an application to the Commission to deal with that issue differently. So at this point, I respectfully submit that for reasons that we've also disclosed to the evidence leaders, I do not think it's pertinent or prudent at this point to deal with this issue. We will deal with it in the supplementary affidavit together with a specifically application as to how we wish to deal with that aspect, because the client's already indicated to you that there's a relation to the Medicare contract and it flows from there. Thank you very much.
But Mr. Matlala has just said that it's not related to the Medicare 24 contract.
It is indirectly related to it. As I said, my client is not an attorney or an advocate. He doesn't understand the legal, the finer points of the law in as much as how you indicate direct or indirect or related to.
Chair, my challenge is if we approach matters on that basis, then anything that was discussed on that one occasion, including any potential Christmas gifts, cannot be discussed, simply because the Medicare 24 contract happened to be discussed in that meeting. Now, Mr. Matlala has specifically, as the chair points out, that there were other matters discussed that are unrelated to Medicare 24. Now, if Ms. van der Heefe wants the matter to be parked, as she suggests, the least she could do, I would suggest, is to advance a legal basis to the commissioners for why this matter should be parked. I do not see, even if she were able to, I do not see why the witness cannot comment just in general on the topics that were discussed and the detail to be unpacked in the supplementary statement. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, on that issue, if necessary, I will file a substantive application to deal with it and ask that that application be heard in camera. Thank you.
I just want to be sure, is the point the simple one that the other issues that were discussed, which Mr. Matlala says are not related to Medicare 24, but which you say are indirectly related to Medicare 24, that Mr. Matlala is claiming the privilege not to incriminate himself. Is that your point, Ms. van der Heefe?
My point actually goes further, Chairperson, and that's why I say, with the greatest of respect, allow us the opportunity on that issue alone to set it out, file a substantive application, and set out to you the reasons as to why we believe that should not be dealt with in an open forum.
But in broad and general terms, why can't we hear now what the extension beyond the privilege is, in broad general terms, not any detail?
Chairperson, then I'm going to ask that I just deal with this issue with the client during tea time, and that we then come back after tea time to that particular issue. I need to take an instruction on him as to exactly how he feels comfortable in me addressing you on that issue. As I said, please understand it clearly. This is not to interfere with the flow of what we're busy with. But I also have my client's interest at heart when I address this issue. But I'm quite willing to have a quick discussion with him during the tea period and come back to this to see how we can deal with it.
Perhaps in the interest of time, Ms. Lo, for now, let's just park the issue and revisit it when we come back after the tea.
I'm happy to do so, and I see perhaps it is about that tea time, but if I could just conclude on paragraph 15, and then we'll revert to this issue. Except to go on record and say, Mr. Matlala has got a full appreciation of the fact that the other issues that were discussed bear no bearing on the Medicare 24 contract, and that's the understanding that he gave to the commission, to the commissioners in response to a question, and he is very clear about that. But we shall park the matter and we will pick it up after tea. For the moment then, Mr. Matlala, let's go to your paragraph 15.3. This time you are addressing your relationship with Lieutenant General Phahlane Molefe. If you could read the contents of 15.3 into the record.
I place on record that I do not have any relationship with Lieutenant General Molefe Phahlane. I have never met him and have had no interactions with him, nor have I been at any gatherings where he was present.
And that will then lead us to your paragraph 15.4, where you specifically then deal with your relationship with Major General Khan.
I place on record that I do not have any relationship with Major General Khan. I have never met him and have had no interactions with him, nor have I been at any gatherings where he was present. It suffices to say that I do not know him.
And I take it that if one has regard to paragraph 2.2 of the notice of the 10-6 notice, that insofar as both Lieutenant General Phahlane Molefe and Major General Feroz Khan, you cannot speak to the issues raised in paragraphs 2.2.1 to 2.2.7, because you, as you say, you do not know them at all, and therefore the issues that are raised in those subparagraphs do not arise in regard to them. Is that your position?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Let us adjourn and resume at 11:35.